Action.
Hello friends, thank you for tuning in into the Tamer the Hammer show. Hope everyone is doing great. Today we will be talking about chapter 5 and the name is College, Finding Out About Myself.
Yes, and so tell us a little bit about that. I got to read that over lunch as we usually do, and I was just so honestly stressed out from reading that chapter because there was just so much going on of hardship in that chapter, man. There was 18 years old to 25 years old.
Correct.
And you're going through all these struggles in Chris Cole. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So, after I graduated high school, it was where, it was time for me to, find a new path. And I, was talking to my TWC counselor. She's my counselor for rehab, and my decision was to go to Chris Cole in Austin to receive rehab training. I went there, and it was, where I faced so many challenges over there, just figuring out how I will succeed in my life. I had, trouble with everything that I was learning. I had, problems, working with even my roommates, being in peace. I was always making trouble. And it wasn't where I focused on my training. It was where I was, finding out I have all those troubles and figuring out how I would overcome them. So I did not really focus on the training per se, but all the troubles I had, not learning on the level.
Right. And so you went to Chris Cole and you struggled with that and you faced rejection. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yes. So with the rejection piece, it's where I, everybody that I worked with, was not impressed with my, my work. Wasn't impressed that I did not know how to perform a task. And it was where it got into like this gray area.
Right.
That they just, said that's it. We cannot work with him.
Yeah, and you talked about your stroke having an effect on your right hand.
Correct.
And how you allowed that, plus your stubbornness, to inhibit you from doing certain tasks. Can you talk about that?
So yes, it's where I was, offered to learn Braille and learn it in a way it would help me read Braille more efficiently and faster. But because of my brain injury as a kid, it seems as if it affected my left side of my brain, and that's why I cannot, fast enough to read the Braille with both hands, or both, use both hands to read.
Yeah.
Usually you read it with one hand and then follow with the other, but I just did not have this sensation in my right side, so that caused me to, be behind, be not successful at learning Braille, the right way.
Yeah, and you say the right way because I remember in the chapter you talk about how you had already learned Braille from many teachers, some not so qualified to teach you very well because they were maybe fresh out of college or something like that.
That is another part I spoke about. My teachers weren't like, if quote unquote like teachers that came from, blindness fields where they know how to teach a blind person, you know, how to read Braille like a pro.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel as if I was not fortunate with having them teaching me Braille the wrong way. You know, it's right that they taught me Braille and the alphabet and the contractions, but it wasn't where they taught me how to read Braille efficiently, how to, you know, if I stop reading Braille, it's gonna, you know, evaporate, or it's gonna basically become not a second nature.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. But you know, I still read Braille, I still practice it, but if you don't continuously do it, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be gone.
Yeah, if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Correct.
And so that led you to leaving Chris Cole. I remember whenever you said you were getting back home.
Right.
And you said, I had never felt relieved and rejected at the same
Correct.
time.
It was where I felt as if somebody kicked me in the face, and I felt as you know, going to Bristol was a waste because, you know, I wasn't accommodated the right way.
Yeah.
I wasn't provided with the services I needed, and everybody around me just did not want to work with me because I wasn't, you know, performing. I wasn't learning what I'm supposed to. And during that time, everything was oblivious to me. It was unknown because I did not know that came from my brain injury.
Right. And then you got evaluated by a neuropsychologist.
Correct.
And that uncovered some things. Do you want to speak a little bit on that whole situation?
So yes, you know, I met this psychologist, and it seems as if the results, in a way, did, you know, speak about my struggles.
Yeah.
But in the same time, you know, DARS or TWC did not, you know, they basically did the examination, but it seems as if they did not get the feedback so that they can provide it to me and for me to like be successful in what they recommended.
Right.
And you know, I speak about, you know, something that I'm struggling in right now, which is function memory loss.
Right.
And that is basically what that psychologist was talking about. And here, you know, after 11 years, that is what is impacting me, because, you know, they mentioned it, but, you know, TWC did not work with me to get that, you know, worked out, or, you know, resolved.
Yeah. And so we get here to the 8-minute and 30-second mark of the video, and I do understand, everybody, how you feel. We've only been talking about the hardships, Tamer,
I mean,
so far.
that is what this chapter talks about.
Yeah, but I do want to leave the audience with some hope and some light, although this chapter is heavy.
Correct.
But this book is all about overcoming the traumatic rejection of blindness,
Correct.
hence the title.
Yes.
And so I do want to say that whenever hardship strikes, that we can't lose hope.
Right.
Me and Tamer over lunch were talking about how he regrets and maybe is certainly angry that he didn't see this assessment by the TWC, by the neuropsychologist, and he wished that he could have began the cognitive rehabilitation that they recommended already, right?
But see, the doctor recommended it, not TWC.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big mistake.
Yes. And so Tamer was saying maybe it's too late to catch up. And I told him, no, it's not too late. It's certainly never too late to sharpen that amazing mind of yours.
Right.
And to close the maybe shortcomings that you can continue to grow, you know. And I was telling him that if he would have maybe began that training, maybe he never would have lost the Apple job. And if he never lost the Apple job, maybe he never would have started writing this book,
Right.
started this podcast, started this new journey that you're on, entrepreneurship journey.
Right. But I can tell you, it's all about hope, determination, about love. And that's what I learned to be.
Yeah.
And this comes from the National Federation of Blind as well. And that's what I was taught. By closing, I just want to say that, again, hope is the number one treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And, just be mindful and, plan, and everything else would go the way you want.
Yeah, and if hope is your goal, and me and Tamara, we were talking about hope being your default mindset. If you could just default to hope and love in your life, everything else will work out. You put your faith in God, and know that He loves you. You believe His promises for you, that He's going to have your back, that He's got a plan for you. No matter the tragedy, like we were talking, Tamara losing that job, to now Tamara writing a book. My mom losing a big competition for breast cancer awareness that she was really hoping to win so she could go on this big tour. She got second place, but that doesn't stop her mission to follow God.
It's all about, finding that momentum and keep going.
Yeah. And, for me in my life, not getting the opportunity that I thought I would have, not having it just there at my hand, in regards to a certain job situation I'm going through, where I was hoping to receive something,
Right.
but then not exactly receiving exactly what I wanted. But I have to remember what I do have, and what not only on what I did not receive, and remain hopeful, remain on the mission.
Yes.
Take heart and not give up. Right? That's what we got to continue doing, Tamara.
Right.
Yes. Any final messages, brother?
Again, my message would be to always find hope when you feel down.
Yes.
Don't give up. Find people that can guide you.
Yes.
Hold your hand.
Big time.
And that way you will find that light once again.
Yeah. I called my professor and told him about the situation I'm going through. And he gave me some great encouraging words. I totally agree with you, Tamara. He even prayed with me on the phone about the whole situation,
Right.
that it would get resolved. And he said, I believe everything's going to get figured out.
Right.
I know God has a plan for you, Mark. And Tamara, I know God has a plan for you. And everybody watching at home, God has a plan for you. Remember to remain in faith, walk in faith, even when the enemy's attacking you. And He's working through people to reject you and put you down. Don't fall into depression. Take a deep breath.
Right.
Read God's word and say a prayer. Talk to a good mentor, like Tamara is saying. Talk to a good friend.
Right.
Sometimes it's been my grandparents, my parents, my uncles, my cousins, my friends that have helped me to stay faithful and to remain positive, even though I'm going through a very hard time. Tamara, you're preaching, brother. That's so good, man.
Yes.
That's a great word, man, and I totally relate.
That is my calling, and I want to, influence people around me, because, everyone needs that guidance, that help.
And that light and that love, brother. Yes, amen.
Yep.
So make sure you guys support Tamara the Hammer's YouTube channel. He's doing so great. We're staying consistent with this stuff. He's on chapter 5. He's working on chapters 6 and 7 right now, coming out soon. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, follow on Facebook, and stick around. Tamara the Hammer.
Yes. Peace.
Peace. God bless.